Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Paul's Speed Shop. I'm standing in a clean engine bay. We took this thing outside, and I went to town with the pressure washer for about an hour straight in some pretty cold weather. No big deal. But today we're going to get some measurements because everything's all clean. We're going to bolt the transmission to the engine to kind of figure out our distances from front to back of where we can fit it. And we might even slide the LS into the engine bay to see how it all fits. But we'll see. So the most important part of this build to me when I started kind of sciencing it out in my head was what kind of transmission am I actually going to use. So what I decided to use was an AR5 out of a Colorado. Now these transmissions are a dime a dozen. They're at most of your just local pull apart places. And the reason I picked the AR5 was because FabBot makes this kit to bolt AR5 to a 4L60 bell housing so you can bolt it directly to your LS. And the cool part about it too is that it uses a stock LS1 style like Camaro flywheel and clutch assembly, so it's all pretty cheap. Other than the kit itself, you should be able to put together a transmission, bell housing, and one of these for under $1,000. And compared to like a T56 or a TR6060 or whatever those things are, that's like a $2,000 difference, which for this project was a big deal because I wasn't going to throw one of the like a 700R4 or 204R, whatever those things are called, and put an automatic in a car like this. And I could not afford a TR6060, which would be what I wanted in the long run. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to bolt the FabBot kit to the AR5, and so I can get the bell housing on there so I can take the motor off of the stand and bolt them together so we can get some hard numbers on the length and like where the shifter sticks through and everything, so we can figure out inside the Conquest how much of the floor pan we're actually going to have to cut out. So let's assemble this thing. Boom, boom, boom. Oh,
bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, da-da-da.
It's a little sharp.
Check it out, guys. It's together. Look at how bulky this thing looks. I haven't looked for any photos of this thing assembled, but that's pretty funny looking. It's not like it's not tapered at all, but just look at the goodness of all of this. And the FabBot logo, look at that. Front heavy?
It's front heavy.
Oh man. You're not recording yet?
No, I did. I just.
This is very important stuff right here. This is monumental. Wow, that thing's bigger than I thought it was. Want to go down?
Yeah, blow it down. We want to see it.
I want to see it, yeah, that's supposed to be.
It's going to add to or subtract from our level of fun.
Wow!
I don't want it to touch the roll pin, so I'm going to have to hold it.
Because I don't want it hanging below the crossover. I don't want it to be the first thing that gets hit. Because that's the original motor sat right there.
It looks really cool. It was made for it.
And I would think you want to go back at least 1.5 inches.
Yeah, I think we should set it back there.
And I think that probably leaves enough room reasonably for the radiator.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that we can use that pedestal if we're making our own custom mounts.
Yeah.
I don't see why the heck you would take the time to weld all that crap. And if we move the engine even another inch back with the firewall cut out, which we're limited there.
We're limited by the
unless we section the crossmember.
Yeah.
Which we can do that. I don't care.
Bishop or Butler's chaps.
Bishop Butler's chaps. So instead of bolting it to the transmission, first off, we went ahead and just dumped it in the car because we couldn't wait to see it. Look at this thing in here. It's not sitting straight right now. So it's about the height where we want it, and the carburetor's gonna stick a good ways out of the hood. It's gonna be, carburetor height is probably about right there. But as far as distance front and back, we're probably gonna cut the firewall and go about an inch further back there. If you look down here where it fits perfectly inside the sway bar and the subframe right there, so we might notch the corner of it to slide the motor back a little bit. But as far as engine mounts go, if we move it another inch or so or half-inch back, we're going to be able to build pedestals off of the stock mounts, hopefully. We're kind of worried about, or we weren't worried, we were kind of interested to see how we were going to end up making mounts, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with an exhaust manifold over here. We might have to come forward. We might have to get the GTO center dump ones, which means I'll probably get a header kit, like a cheap one with a nice thick flange on it, even though I'm not a big header guy. But that thing fits in there really well, and that's
really cool.
That's really cool to see it down in there.
It's about in the center too. There's a lot of room. There's a lot more room. It's a lot worse. I mean, it's a lot better than it could be.
All right, guys, so check it out. Look at this thing. Dad and I just pulled the power steering lines out, so the front's clear. It's gonna stop peeing everywhere when we turn the steering wheel. So now it's just, the box is just there, and so now we can actually start to make some serious measurements and start marking out where we're actually gonna have to cut it out right here. But look at this thing. It looks so good sitting here, and I can actually stand back here and do this. That's just cool. But yeah, so that's a good end to the just a Sunday afternoon of working.
Yeah, they
So
usually
is the
do.
even number in inches or is the even number in millimeters?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question in American stuff.
So
Depends on how the.
this isn't left over from anything. This is a 1997 decision. If you take that dimension off of this right here, it comes out at 4.4 inches and not an even metric number.
This is kind of miscommunication stuff that brings down the shuttle, though.
Crashes the Beagle.
All right, guys, update time. Dad and I have been out here working a couple of nights this week to get everything straightened up. I've gotten the interior out of the car. The dashboard's out. The heater core is out. As you can see, the seats are out. But look at how big that freaking tunnel already is, and we've got to make it bigger. Now, the biggest obstacle, and that's up to the elder guru, and he's figuring it out, is how we're going to mount the engine to the cradle, or to the K-member. And he's done some magicals and taken some measurements off of where you stock mount this thing. Now, a lot of guys, when they do these LS swaps and these things, they build pedestals out this way. Well, we're going the other way. We're going inboard because we want to try to use the stock location. I really don't like we really don't like or think it's a great idea the way that putting pedestals that far out away from where they mount. It's just not what we want to do. We'll probably figure out why those guys did it their way, because we're also not putting a rack in this thing. We're just keeping the stock steering in it. We think we make the exhaust manifolds work that we have on the way, but we're gonna have to trim a lot of the tunnel out. We're gonna figure that out a little bit later. But that's an update for you guys. I'll show you the engine mounts when we get them back and Dad's worked all of his magic. Oh, that's right on the money.
Oh, get the length right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That ain't no.
Oh, check this out.
Oh, that's butter.
Those are the dimensions.
That's
Look,
100%. Yeah, look at that.
no redrilling needed.
That's sick. Oh, that'll even be easy to get on when it's like hanging in the air. Because those are the bolts we're gonna take in and out, right?
Yeah, if that's the way it works out.
Yeah.
It may be something different that we end up with. That's cool.
Except the plate will be that way.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
No, the thing's most likely to end up, well, no, you're right, the plate on here. So check those bolts out.
Yeah.
So we can countersink it. If the thing ends up right here,
Yeah.
and
we
this
don't
one's got to
want all
go
that.
flat, then we'll see how it works. That's pretty cool.
Here, so guys, look at this. Dad milled a plate, and then we have our Corvette style engine mounts, and we're gonna go straight off where his fist is. We're just gonna go right there and bolt right to the OE mounting place. That's pretty trick.
I think that's going to be
I think it's gonna work plenty
a
well.
world-class solution.
I think so too. So to make our engine plate mounting system probably work, we have a new set of exhaust manifolds that have been gifted to us by the elder guru himself. So let's go ahead and open these things up.
We've also got other parts in here too, Austin. Exhaust flange gaskets for the 440. And power steering return lines from Pontiac, Chrysler, and this.
Yep. I already made that joke. Just because it's a big heavy package. Whoa! Yeah.
Someone's gonna say, you paid money for stock manifolds?
Those aren't stock. Those are thick boys compared. If you line those up next to the...
And quiet boys too.
Yeah, guess what? They don't leak like all your other cheap butts buying your Chinese swap headers.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, watch Engine Masters and find out how much they really don't
gain any horsepower.
gain.
In some swap headers, you actually lose horsepower.
Oh yeah.
Slap it, honor it. Yeah.
See, that kick out is what
Yeah, that
spoils
kick out right there that's the kick out. See how this one's straight? That right there adds another 3 inches or like 2.5 inches to the overall width on both sides.
And our bogey is to fit it inside of
13 inches.
13 inches.
And look at that. You draw a line, 13 inches, bam, fits. No long tube headers for us.
Well, they're getting wrapped.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah, they're getting wrapped.
They're getting, everybody wraps.
Everybody, yeah.
You didn't swap it unless you wrapped.
Are you serious?
You little piece of.
That's the steering rod. No, the other steering right here. Let me hop in there.
Are you gonna bench press this?
Oh, no, I got the jack under here. Dad put the jack under here. What's it caught on?
Let me pull it.
Control.
And yeah, it's going to end up like there.
The
See,
bell
that's the
housing
thing.
is quite a bit wider than the tunnel.
Yeah, right here at the mouth of it.
Yeah.
Well, on the transmission, but on the body too.
Yeah.
The tunnel's odd shaped right there. It's not symmetrical.
Oh, I see
On the
that.
passenger side.
That's where we're going to end off this episode of Paw Paw Speed Shop, guys. We have our motor plates well, I say motor plates. We have our engine mounting plates right here that bolt to the side of the motor, and we'll talk about that more in the next episode when we're actually going to mount the motor in the engine compartment, and we're going to have to use these little cool 2-inch aluminum spacers. Well, I guess they are about 2 inches. I don't know. Dad knows the specs. This is all his brainchild and how we're going to mount this thing up. Thank you guys again for watching, and stay tuned when we get the motor in the Conquest. See you next time. Billy, Billy.
So all this
Yo,
is,
boy.
He doesn't have any of this. He doesn't have any of the
Good
center
building.
staff or the kick panels.
and that stuff the same for.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Come back for the next episode.